I'm here today with Rob Turgeon, director of a documentary called Be Without Water. This documentary is about 60 families in Penobscot whose wells ran dry due to mining activities nearby. Welcome to YouTube's SWFF channel, Rob. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Hi, it's good to be here.
So these families lost their water 10 years ago. When did you actually start making this documentary?
I started this a year ago. They asked me to help them in some way, and I said, well, I have a camera, so maybe I could put stuff up on YouTube. I knew I couldn't do much with a camera. Putting stuff on YouTube is good, but somehow this has to get out to people. So what actually happened is I did a documentary, and it's going around the whole province because it's relevant to not only a water loss situation, but shale, gas, and fracking.
Okay. Do you see a positive resolution for these people in the future?
It would be a smart move to compensate the people for their loss. Otherwise, it looks like the government and industry do not support the people that are suffering because of business activity.
And the people who elected them.
That's right, that's right. In this story, we're seeing, as we get into the shale gas part of it, we're seeing lots of government and industry versus the people of New Brunswick.
So the hydrofracking industry does seem to be the next chapter in the threat to the NB water table. And what do you think the people need to know about this discussion moving forward?
This is such a large discussion. There is so much research to look at. I've learned so much just doing this documentary that it goes beyond water contamination. It goes to air. One person said in Wyoming that what it's like here is like in a bus station, and they're in rural Wyoming with whale pads all around them. It's pretty bad, and the ruts in the road, the destruction of the road is something that you have never seen before, but if it comes here, you will.
So, and apparently we will be the ones that will have to pay to repair these roads. There's no, it doesn't look like there's any kind of compensation coming in for that?
Well, not from the government. They're interested in the piddly little royalties they'll get from this, which are nothing compared to the costs of repairing the damage and replacing things the way they should be after this business, this fast boom and bust has gone.
Do you have any kind of theory as to why it is that they don't seem to be invested in the long-term stability of our province?
You mean the politicians?
Yeah.
Politicians are never interested in the long term. They're thinking about the next election, and it's really self-defeating, because if they made the right decisions, they'd be here longer. But it's the people who suffer, it's the people who pay, without doubt. I've noticed that in making this documentary like I've never noticed it before. No support from government. In fact, that you're fighting the government that you elected.
Tell us about your choice of the title for the film, Be Without Water.
Be Without Water, finally I arrived at this title because this is about water, and in actual fact, subconsciously I remembered a sign that was on a gentleman's house. He had B ... without water. And so I thought, well, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to put a question mark behind that, because this documentary is about water. So Be Without Water. Doesn't make much sense. And it's sort of reminiscent of, on our license plates, we have that little saying, be in this place. So it's the same kind of idea.
Will there be a follow-up to this documentary? Do you see something additional in the future? Are you planning to try and tell the end of the story, I guess?
Yes, I want to follow this one up with another one. There's a gentleman from Texas, Texas, who came to Fredericton just a week ago, and I have recorded him already. And he came from a town that's just surrounded by gas wells, and he had to leave. He's an ex-mayor who just picked up and left for the health of his family. We'll be having Antonio in Graphia coming in late November. I will be there taping him too. And the object here is I want to match what industry and government says with what these two people, one with experience, actually both with experience, have to say about the topic. And it looks like the shale gas industry, they're mantra is jobs, 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 but all this really translates into, as far as I can see so far, is truck driving jobs.
Okay. So other than this project that you were just talking about, the follow-up, do you have any other documentary or other type projects in the works that you'd like to tell us about?
Yes, I do. There are two very famous, well, one very famous sculptor from Hampton, New Brunswick, John Hooper, who's deceased now, but his works are all around the world. And there's another John Murphy, who's an artist and teacher and singer and band member and actor. I want to make one on those two gentlemen. Okay.
And what is kind of do you know your angle on that yet, or?
At the moment, I haven't figured out the angle, but the title will be The Two Johns, and we'll see how their lives have inspired their children and their art lives on. Where if you go to Hampton today, you'll see their art all over the place. John Murphy's art, and you'll see John Hooper's art there too, and in St. John and in Los Angeles and in London, everywhere. I mean, these are real artists.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see this at SWFF next year.
Oh, I don't know about next year.
Maybe not that
maybe
fast?
The year after, perhaps.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. And anybody who wants to see Be Without Water should come to the Atlantic Documentaries on Sunday at 1:30.
Right.